what advice would I give to a young investigator, scientist, who wants to be working in the HIV/AIDS field? And there's lots of advice, which there are many fields that impact on HIV/AIDS. In the biomedical world, the pressing issues are the host, where I have a bias towards studying the immune system. I've spent, about 50 years now studying the immune system before HIV and since the beginning of HIV. And there are challenging questions in all parts of the immune system. And the complications of HIV/AIDS are what are called in lay language basically end organ diseases, which affect all systems. So the brain, the heart, the kidneys, the lungs. Select your organ and there's involvement of HIV/AIDS, and that they can be studied. Going beyond the immune system, this field has made remarkable seminal discoveries in immunology, including cells and unique cell subsets and beyond, and many of the major breakthroughs in the immune system have come from HIV/AIDS, T-cell biology, for example, or macrophage, which I study, macrophage, monocyte, dendritic cell, innate immunity. And this remains a very fertile and exciting field of research. On the virus side, the world of virology is just emerging, so here too I advise a lot of young investigators at CHOP and at Penn and elsewhere, and I encourage them to look at this at a very broad venue. So these are in a group called retroviruses, which means that they use a reverse transcriptase to replicate themselves. They're dependent. They take over the host cell in a teleologic way. It's not an advantage for the virus to kill the host cell. It needs a place to live. I would urge somebody to work in a very broad scope of virology and microbial host-parasite interactions and microbiology broadly. So, for example, within the retrovirus world, there's something called endogenous retroviruses. We all have them. Do they cause disease? Nobody really knows yet. They probably do. Are they related to malignancies? They probably are. And then on another note, which has fascinated me for many years, is as horrible as this disease is, the routes of transmission are, as we know, behavioral, sex, mother to child, body fluids. If a virus like this became transmissible like measles or like flu by a respiratory route, civilization would come to an end. So yet this is 40 million, 70 million or 80 million people have been infected with HIV since the beginning of this. 35 to 40 million people have died. This is a big epidemic. It's very sad. In some African countries, there's whole losses of midlife, early career people that have passed away, sadly. So very major public health type of issues.